Hello, this is all Ramakrishna here. Basically, we are discussing one of the topic that is city creation. In city creation, basically, we are discussing one of the topic that is vitamins creation. In this, basically, we are discussing one topic that is design. Basically, this design, basically, which you can see basically in front of the screen, basically, that actually design is of the galaxies. This design is of galaxies, basically. So one of the person told that this is the design basically, which is actually created by the set of groups. So that groups basically are like this. All stories basically created by political group. All stories basically generated by Bollywood groups. All education story basically. That basically everybody knows what is education. All education next level stories. Education means chartered accountant, BCom, 10th, 10, 12th, junior KG, junior KG, KG, G's, that basically each and everything basically. Then BCom, MCom, MA, BA, like this basically the B, BTech basically this all education. Then all education next level stories basically. Then all God stories means everybody knows gods. Then all blood cells group stories basically, blood cells group basically 22 blood groups are there basically, or religion caste story. This actually we have already discussed. That 5 crore example basically is the one of the example. Then basically the all cities land stories basically. For example, Vadodara land basically is created. How basically Vadodara land is created? That is created from one of the blast basically which was happened near the Pavagadh mountain. So like this basically the Vadodara land created basically. So one of the person told that if the creation basically has happened, then basically the end also basically might be there. Then one of the person told that Vadodara land will never end basically. But the generation of the people who are staying in the Vadodara land, they will 100% going to end basically. But Vadodara land will never end. But the Vadodara land basically, which is Vadodara land basically, which contains each and every generation Objects means house is there, nuclear plants are there, power companies are there, buildings are there, commercial complexes are there, malls are there. Basically, then the gymkhanas are there. Then basically the companies are there. Then the buildings are there. Then bungalows are there. This all will basically end one day basically, that is 100% sure basically, this is going to end basically. But land will never end basically. So Vadodara land will never end. So Vadodara land condition is 100% going to satisfy basically. So one of the person told that Vadodara land means what actually condition we are talking about. So one of the person told that Vadodara land means, for example, in Vadodara basically the set of energy has generated some set of stories basically generated, bad story, good story, very bad story, very good story, like this. For example, 100 divorce happened, 100 marriage happened, 100 divorce that are so very badly divorced happened, this that is each and every story basically generated. That story basically 100% is going to create the Vadodara land basically. So the land, the story which is generated, that is basically containing inside the Vadodara land basically. So Vadodara land which is created, that basically contains entire history of the Vadodara each and every peoples basically. So that will never end basically, because it's the land is already created. One of the person told that if we basically has cleared the human basically, but Vadodara land basically, that basically data we can't clear, because that only for that only basically the human generation has happened na, basically for that purpose only the human generation has happened basically. Then how the universe group is going to end the current generation creation, that is the land also basically. That is the human, for example 900 crore population is there basically. So they are generating the land basically for earth planet and for the other planets basically. So that will never end basically, but human generation will 100% going to end one day basically, that is 100% sure. Because human basically, if they gets the birth, so death is also basically there basically in this world. So the 90,000 people basically who are having their lifestyle basically 90,000 year basically, their year basically is 90,000 year. So that are basically extraordinary tasks they have done basically. Then only basically, for example, Sunil Nair basically. What will be the lives of the Sunil Nair basically? It might possible that basically when Sunil Nair sleep, then basically it might end also Sunil. For example, Sunil Nair basically just now sleeping. It might possible that I will die basically. That is also possible. So human basically like normal person like Sunil Nair basically, he basically will end basically. That is 100% sure. So that day basically will be the day basically. That also you will see basically. So one of the person to the human will basically will end basically. But the land basically which is created by the 900 crore population basically that will never end basically. But human will end basically. So Sunil Nair will end one day. That is 100% sure. So one of the person told that this is the story of the land basically. So land story which is created basically in the Vadodara city basically that will never end basically. That will always there basically for the next generation, and next generation is going to take that blood cells basically. That is going to generate the blood cells 100%. So that will never basically going to end. Land will never end basically. Then basically the all blood cells group stories with that basically 22 blood groups are there. All religion caste story basically. That also we have almost discussed. First World War, Second World War, few caste basically are created like Gujarati caste basically are also created. A few Gujarati caste basically are created from First World War data, Second World War data. That are the human clone population basically. That basically everybody knows. That we have already discussed. Then all cities, land story that basically we already. Then the all lava hole story basically. Lava, for example, Pavagad mountain basically. That basically is having one hole basically, or inside above the hole basically the temple is created basically. So like this basically the Vadodara people say that basically now in the entire life basically the lava blast is not going to happen. Why? Because Mahakali temple basically we have created there basically. So due to that Mahakali temple basically the lava blast will never happen in the mountain Pavagad that is. And Vadodara city will never basically going to end basically. Reason Mahakali temple basically is created by the set of groups, and they basically believe that basically lava blast will never be ever going to happen basically. So they have basically told that basically we have challenged the universe also basically, that Mahakali basically temple basically which we have created in the Pavagad mountain basically, due to that Pavagad mountain basically the land is never going to end basically. That is the lava blast is never going to happen basically in Vadodara city. Then basically the all software companies, that basically everybody knows basically that all software company basically CRM software, what I assume that basically 1 lakh software basically is created. Their energy, human needs, each and everything basically is created. Human blood process happens. That basically has also converted into the Vadodara land basically. In this basically we can say in world land basically. Then the others data that basically are if any data are basically left basically. So you can just imagine basically the design basically which is created basically. That is basically, for example, one person told that this design basically which you have created, this, then basically that this land design you have created, this all design are basically what basically. So one of the person told that this design basically is of the education sector basically. This design basically which is there, that is the education sector. This design you can see that is basically the stories of the Bollywood sector basically. Then basically this design you can see, yes, this design basically, that is basically the software company's process basically. So like this basically you can just imagine basically the each and every things basically are generating the design, and then basically it is converted into the planet, and like this many planets has created basically. So you can just imagine basically how the things basically are created. So in next video basically we are going to see a little bit more about this.